Morning students, I am Bharti Sharma, English teacher. I hope you all well and you are staying at home, not going out. You need to take care of yourself. So, the other day we had been doing a question of trust by Victor Canning. This is a story of Horace Denby, a successful locksmith. He was considered to be a good and honest man, but there was another side to his story. He was an unusual thief. He used to steal once a year, and he used to steal to pursue his hobby of collecting rare and expensive books. So he used to identify the houses of rich people and he used to steal from there. Till now, he had been successful in his theft. But this story is that part where he was caught. He is talking about how once he was caught and he was sent to prison and he worked or he passed his imprisonment in prison library. So how did this happen? He had identified the house at Shotover Grange and he had been studying the house for the last 2 weeks. He had studied the plan of the rooms, wirings, everything, and he also knew that the owners were in London and there were only 2 servants living in the Shotover Grange, and that day they were planning to go to a movie, and finding it as the right opportunity, he went in to steal from the safe. He enters the house taking a key, and there was a dog, Sherry. He calls him by his name, saying that you need to be friendly with the dog so that it doesn't bark at you. And then there was a bowl of flowers in the center table, and as he was allergic to flowers, he started sneezing. And it was the second time when he was sneezing, he hears a voice from the doorway. The female voice, it was a female voice. The voice was asking him, what was it? So he, without thinking, he replies that it is hay fever, and then he turns around and he sees a lady in red standing at the doorway, and the dog was familiar. It seemed that the dog was familiar with the lady. It was wagging its tail and rubbing against her. And the lady walks over to the fireplace. She arranges the ornaments. It looked as if she was familiar or she was the owner of the house, and she looks at Horace and tells him that she was surprised on seeing him. She didn't expect a burglar in a house. So on this, Horace says that he also didn't expect the owner. And then the lady asks Horace what is he planning to do. On this, Horace says that he planned to run. So the lady says that if he ran, she would call the police. On this, Horace threatens her very softly that if you I would disconnect the phone, I would cut the wires of the phone, and I would do something to you that you won't be able to move for a few hours. So the lady looked at him seriously and asked him that you plan to hurt me. So on this, Horace paused, that is, he stopped for a while and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you. When I said that is, I didn't intend to do it. I was just trying to frighten you. So now we'll start reading from page number 23 from the slide. You didn't frighten me. So the lady says that you didn't frighten me. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. Let me go. So when the lady very quietly said that you didn't frighten me, Horace suggested, that is, he's trying to persuade the woman, that he says that it would be nice that if you forget that you ever saw me, and please let me go. The voice was suddenly sharp. That is, she got angry and she spoke in a sharp voice. Why should I? You were going to rob me. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. Society must be protected from men like you. So the voice spoke very sharply that why should I let you go? You were going to rob me, and if I let you go, you will go and rob someone else. So the society needs to be protected from men like you. Horace smiled. I'm not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason, and I hate the thought of prison. So Horace smiled and said to the lady that I am not a man who threatens the society, that is, I am not a threat to the society. I don't just go and rob everyone. I rob only rich people, and that too, I have a very good reason for stealing from them. And then I hate the thought of prison, that is, I don't like prison, I even hate the thought of prison. She laughed and he begged. So she started laughing when Horace said that I hate the thought of prison. She laughed and Horace begged. Begged here doesn't mean asking for money. Begged here means plead, okay, to request. Thinking that he had persuaded her. So he thought that he had persuaded her. He had made the lady change her mind. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. So he says to the lady that I have no right to ask you anything, okay, but I am desperate, that is, I am helpless. I need to ask you. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. So he is asking the lady that let me go, please let me go this time, and I promise you that I'm not going to do this kind of thing again. This kind of thing, that is stealing. I won't do it ever again. I really mean it, and that I mean it. I intend to not to do it. She was silent, watching him closely. So she became quiet and she watched him closely. That is, she was studying something. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" Then she said to him, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" She came over to him, shaking her head. "I have always liked the wrong kind of people." So she came over to him and she shook her head and said, looking at him, "I have always liked the wrong kind of people. That is, I have always liked, or I take the side of wrong kind of people. That is, people who are not honest, or you can say thieves." She picked up a silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. So there was a silver box on the table. She picked it up as if she knew what was in it, and she opened and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter. So when Horace saw the lady taking out a cigarette, he wanted to please her. That is, he wanted to make her happy so that she would let him go. So he came over to her, and seeing that she might help him, seeing that she might let him go, he took off his gloves, the gloves which he had worn so that he won't leave any fingerprints. So he took off those gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter, and took out his cigarette lighter and gave it to her. "You will let me go?" He held the lighter towards her. So holding the lighter towards her, giving the lighter to her, he asked her, "You will let me go?" "Yes, but only if you will do something for me." So on this, the lady lays a condition. "Yes, I will let you go, but you will have to do something for me." "Anything you say." So on this, Horace says, "Oh, anything you say, I will do anything." "Before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank, but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them, but..." So the lady tells Horace that before we left for London, that is her husband also. So when we left for London, I had promised my husband to take my jewels to a bank. So she's saying that I had promised that time my husband, I had promised him that I'll take our jewels, I'll keep the jewels in the bank, but I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, and now I want to wear them to a party tonight, but she pauses. Horace smiled. "You have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you?" So on this, when she pauses, Horace smiles and says that, "Oh, you must have forgotten the numbers to open the safe, haven't you?" "Yes," replied the young lady. So on this, the lady says, "Yes, I have forgotten the numbers." "Just leave it to me and you will have them within an hour, but I'll have to break your safe." So Horace says that, "Oh, just leave it to me. I will give them to you within an hour. You'll have them within an hour. That is, I'll give it to you within an hour. But for this, I'll have to break your safe. I'll have to break your safe. Don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month, and I'll have the safe mended by that time. So when Horace says that I'll have to break the safe, the lady says, oh, don't worry about it. My husband won't be here for a month. My husband is not going to be here for a month, and by the time he returns, I'll get it mended. And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, given her the jewels, and gone happily away. So within an hour, as promised, Horace had opened the safe and given her the jewels. Yeah, he had taken out all the jewels and given it to the lady and gone happily away. And he was happy of being able to escape from the police. He was happy that the lady didn't hand him over to the police, and he walked away from there happily. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind young lady, and for 2 days he kept his promise. What was his promise? He had promised the lady that he won't steal again. So for 2 days he kept that promise. That is, for 2 days he didn't think about stealing. On the morning of the third day, however, he thought of the books he wanted, and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But on the third day, he again thought of the books which he had wanted to buy, and as he thought over about the books, he realized that he need to get money. And how can he get money? He'll have to look for another safe. He'll have to go and steal from another safe. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. What plan? Of stealing some other rich person. He never got that chance. By noon, a policeman had arrested him for the jewel robbery at Shotover Grange. So by noon, a policeman had come and he had arrested him for the jewel robbery which had taken place at Shotover Grange. His fingerprints, for he had opened the safe without gloves, were all over the room, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. So he had taken out his gloves to give the lighter to the lady, and he forgot to wear the gloves while opening the safe. So his fingerprints were there all over the safe and all over the room. And when he said to the police, no, I didn't steal, I had opened it for the owner's wife, no one believed him that he had done it for her. The wife herself, a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman of 60, said that the story was nonsense. And so when the police took him or brought over the wife to identify, he saw the wife was a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman, whereas the woman who was in the house, or whom he had encountered in the house, was a pretty young lady. But the real owner was a grey-haired, sharp-tongued woman. Grey-haired, that is, her hair had gone white, that is, she must be old. And she was a sharp-tongued woman, that is, very quick to reply. And said that the story was nonsense. On seeing, when Horace said that, no, I opened for the owner's wife, she said, this story is nonsense. I never asked him to open the safe. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. So now he was imprisoned and he started serving his sentence in the prison library. Now he is the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was and who tricked him. So while working at times, he remembers of the charming, clever young lady. Charming, that is, attractive young lady who was in the same profession as he was. Same profession, that is, she was also a thief as Horace was, and who tricked him, who fooled him. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. So when anyone talks about honor among thieves, that there is honor among thieves, he gets very angry because he had experienced this, that no, thieves don't have honors, they don't protect the other thief. He had experienced it, so he gets angry when anyone says about honor among thieves. So this is all for today. Thank you and take care.